Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. First call, Aaron Rodgers' decision expected within the next few days, Steelers talking with a college QB. Tuesday's first call has an optimistic spin on the Aaron Rodgers watch for the Pittsburgh Steelers and New York Giants. In the meantime, the Steelers are talking to a college quarterback in advance of the NFL draft. A depth defensive lineman may be on their wish list too. We'll preview the Penguins' Tuesday night game in Tampa Bay, and we talk about how the transfer portal is biting Robert Morris and Duquesne basketball. On the horizon? The Aaron Rodgers saga may be finally coming to an end. The former New York Jets quarterback has been taking weeks to decide where he wants to play football next year, or if he will play at all. The potential destinations seem to be down to the Steelers and the New York Giants. On Monday, Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network told SiriusXM Radio that a decision may finally be around the corner. My impression from talking to a lot of people involved is that people believe this answer is coming in the near term, maybe even within the next few days here, Pelissero said. According to Pelissero, agreeing on money isn't a concern at this stage. They've had parameters in place in Pittsburgh for weeks. It's not going to be a contract thing. It's not going to be a financial thing, Pelissero added. The Giants? There have been ongoing conversations, ongoing dialogue with Aaron Rodgers' agent, but Aaron he calls his own shots. Russell Wilson appears to be hanging in the balance waiting to find out what Rodgers is going to do. John Hendricks covers the New Orleans Saints for Athlon Sports. He says Saints reps at Texas Pro Day had dinner with quarterback Quinn Ewers. But he was also supposed to meet with the Steelers in advance of Tuesday's workouts. Pittsburgh also met with Ewers during the combine. An Ohio State transfer, the 6'1" quarterback threw for 3,472 yards. He led the SEC with 31 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Also, Justin Mello of the Draft Network reports that the Steelers are planning to host SMU edge rusher Elijah Roberts on pre-draft 30 visits. Mello goes on to say that Roberts also has a virtual meeting with the San Francisco 49ers and an in-person visit with the Philadelphia Eagles. Over the last 2 years with the Mustangs, he posted 17.5 sacks and had a good East-West Shrine Bowl. At 6'4", 285 pounds, Roberts may be more of a 3-4 defensive end than a pure outside pass rusher off the edge. He's the 27th rated edge on the board according to ESPN.com and may project to be a third-day selection. It almost sounds like he could be another attempt at what the Steelers tried to create with DeMarvin Leal 3 years ago. Ride the Lightning. The Penguins conclude their trip to Florida on Tuesday night in Tampa Bay against the Lightning. The puck drops at 7 p.m. Last time out the Penguins dropped a 4-3 shootout to the Florida Panthers. However, the Pens have now put up points in 6 of their past 7 games. Meanwhile, Tampa has been up and down of late. The Lightning followed a 3-game losing streak with a 3-game winning streak, only to drop their 2 most recent contests against the Utah Hockey Club and the Vegas Golden Knights. Bill Simmons says Aaron Rodgers was washed up in 2024. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been waiting quite a while for Aaron Rodgers to make a decision. Depending on who you ask, that could be a good or bad thing. Some think the 4-time NFL MVP still has some gas left in the tank, and with its lack of options elsewhere, Pittsburgh's best idea is to wait for him to decide on his future. The Ringer's Bill Simmons is not one of those people. In fact, he thinks Rodgers was downright terrible in 2024. Well, he was washed up last year as a quarterback, Simmons said Monday on The Herd. I mean, that's a crucial piece to this. He was terrible. He was good when he had protection. When he didn't have protection, he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. I think he likes when people are talking about him. If Aaron Rodgers likes when people talk about him, he must be loving life right now. It feels like every offseason now we have this conversation about Rodgers, and it's partly because of how hard it is to judge his recent play. His critics, as Simmons appears to be, will point to the fact that he got to handpick his situation with the New York Jets, for the most part. They'll say he got his coach, Robert Saleh, fired and essentially destroyed the Jets from within. They'll be right to say that he was one of the worst quarterbacks when faced with pressure in 2024. At 41, they think he should be considered washed up. But there are two sides to every story. It's also true that, as a 41-year-old, he took longer than usual to recover from that devastating Achilles injury. Once he found his rhythm again on the back nine in 2024, he looked much better and can still throw the ball all over the field. Behind a young, promising offensive line in Pittsburgh, with talented receivers at his disposal, there are reasons for optimism. The bottom line is, the Steelers don't need Aaron Rodgers to play like an MVP again. If signed, he'll join a team that went to the playoffs in 2024, even with a 4-game losing streak to end the regular season. If Rodgers can put up stats anything close to what he did in 2024, Pittsburgh probably makes the playoffs anyway. There, they'll have to hope Rodgers can channel some of his magic from earlier in his career. Right now, the Steelers have no other choice. Steelers rumors include George Pickens' trade and first-round draft plan. When the Pittsburgh Steelers traded for Seattle Seahawks receiver DK Metcalf, they added a level of credibility and potency the passing offense hasn't seen in years. It was an aggressive move fans and pundits have dared the Steels to make for years, and it will make life easier on whoever is under center in 2025. But it also demands several questions be answered, especially as it relates to receiver George Pickens and the 2025 NFL Draft. Pairing Metcalf with Pickens creates one of the most talented receiving duos in the sport, although their redundant skill sets could prove to be untenable in the long term. With Pickens entering a contract year, and Metcalf signed for 5 more seasons, a departure seems inevitable, but perhaps not imminent. As such, 2 key positions have emerged as the Steelers' first-round draft plan, according to Ray Fittipaldo. I don't think the Jackson Dart or the Shadur Sanders thing is gonna happen, Fittipaldo said. Pretty much down to receiver and D-line, and I think the only way a receiver would be in play at 21 is if they're gonna turn around and trade George Pickens on draft day. So I think that's a possibility. Trading Pickens isn't ideal for the 2025 Pittsburgh offense, hoping to elevate a veteran quarterback to meaningful January football. But on the chaos of day 1 of the NFL Draft, nothing is out of the question. It's worth considering a receiver in round 1. Arizona's Teteroa McMillan might fall, Ohio State's Emeka Egbuka would fit in the slot, and Texas' Matthew Golden's combined performance should boost his stock. They should be taken to amplify Pickens, not replace him, at least in year 1. There's validity to wanting to ensure a second strong receiver is in the building for a post-Pickens world. Yet, trading Pickens only kneecaps the progress made this offseason. Elsewhere, the defensive line class boasts several names for Pittsburgh to plug and play to improve the run defense and reinforce the pass rush. Oregon's Derek Harmon has been a common fit, with Mississippi's Walter Nolan, Ohio State's Tyleik Williams, and Michigan's Kenneth Grant finding their way into first-round mock drafts. This path would allow Pittsburgh to backfill Cameron Hayward's eventual replacement while making life easier for the rest of the defensive line. Keanu Benton has flashed and Hayward was dominant in 2024, but the run defense struggled at times, and reinforcements aren't coming at linebacker. As things stand, that probably makes an interior lineman the Steelers' top priority come April 24th. And you fan? What do you think about George Pickens' situation? Write to us in the comments.